a big day. December 17th, on this day in 1903, the Wright brothers made history.
Tonight, our Tar Heel traveler is in Apex with one of the brothers, sort of. Scott Mason meets Wilbur Wright in the classroom.
Good morning, my friends. My name is Wilbur Wright. My spirit has been summoned from the past.
Summoned from 1903, from Kitty Hawk.
And how did it all begin?
And how did it all evolve?
I went to work for Delta Airlines, flew for them for 29 years, had a wonderful career there, met a lot of great people, and saw the world.
And in retirement, he saw an opportunity to become a Wright brother.
Imagine being able to glide like a bird.
A wonderful opportunity.
What would it take?
To take the first flight story and breathe life into it.
It started when I was a little boy.
And the life of one is not altogether distant from the life of another.
My parents took me camping out on the Outer Banks and showed me where the Wright brothers flew for the first time. I was really small, like 5 or 6 years old. And I kind of think that was a seed that got planted.
Paul Carr joined the Air Force.
It was part of the Rapid Deployment Force. I flew several 22-hour missions in it.
And then he flew about 1 million passengers during his many years with Delta.
A friend of mine asked me to come to his civic club and talk about the Wright brothers. He was a pilot. And I thought, well, okay, that'd be fun.
That was about 25 years ago.
Remember that name. Remember that name.
Wilbur Wright has been speaking to groups ever since.
And we shoved it off, and I crashed.
He has landed now at Apex Friendship Elementary School.
And I think that's such a great story because everybody gets discouraged sometimes, don't you? Everybody does. And I see things like perseverance and setting goals and beginning with the end in mind and things like that. And I just see that in the Wright brothers. It's two guys from very humble beginnings that applied themselves. And the story then becomes remarkable because they did something that has affected all our lives. You have rockets. The rockets carry satellites. Now we have phones and television. All that began at Kitty Hawk.
On December 17th, 1903.
And it lifted into the air. It climbed up 12 feet above the ground.
And flew for 12 seconds across 120 feet.
Man had flown a powered airplane for the very first time in history, the only one like it that had ever been made. People, particularly the people in North Carolina, liked to hear this story. And I was fascinated by this little toy. It was the most fascinating thing that I had ever seen. But to hear me do it in the first person makes it a lot more interesting, I think. I've talked to senior groups and little kids, and people just like to hear the story. Yeah, I am surprised that I'm doing it so much and so often. And I feel blessed too, by the way. Thank you very much.
What a great teacher. Paul Carr lives in Cary and chooses to play Wilbur Wright because he says Wilbur was the real inspiration behind the idea. Wilbur died just 9 years after the first flight in 1912 at age 45. Orville died much later at age 76.